And I think we're live. Good morning, everybody. My name is Tommaso Adami. It's Wednesday morning. The sun is shining. At least it is here in Milan. It looks like a gorgeous day. Make sure you go outside to take a walk, to get a coffee maybe before you start working. It really looks lovely. Like spring is almost there. Not quite, because it's still a little bit cold, but it feels like the dark days of fall and winter are now behind us. So, my name is Tommaso Adami. I'm one of the teachers from English Corner, and I think this is the fifth week that I've been reading the news in the morning. I've been trying to find always different articles that focus on different themes, and today I found one from a website called teaandprogress.com. So Tea and Progress. You might say that their point of view over anything will probably be biased. I agree with you. But why I chose this article? I chose this article because it talks about an aspect that I had learned about when I was in high school. And for some reason, it really stuck to me. I was really impressed by this piece of information that I read, that I have never really forgotten it. And I was talking to a student whether he prefers coffee or tea. And then he said, I prefer tea also because tea is very good for you. And so I decided to type on Google tea and industrial revolution. And this is one of the first articles that came out. So today we're going to talk about tea, but we're going to talk about tea during the Industrial Revolution. And you will see that they are interconnected, okay? So we have a picture of an English industrial city in the 1800s. And below we have our article, which is not very long. It's only 4 paragraphs, but in my opinion, tells a very interesting story. I'm going to read the first one. So tea played an integral role in the development and the continuation of the Industrial Revolution. Throughout the late 1700s and early 1800s, a massive transition occurred, which revolutionized the entire manufacturing process. This shift began in Europe, where production became heavily machine-based and massive urbanization occurred. Farmers flocked to newly developing cities in search of work, and factories provided many with jobs. Labor was mundane and required very little training. However, it was often long, boring, dangerous, and grueling. So, right away, we read that tea played an integral role in the development and continuation of the Industrial Revolution. In the second line, the verb occurred is used. You can use to occur when you don't want to repeat happened. So a massive transition happened or a massive transition occurred. And this a shift is a change in movement. Okay, so it's a change after all. This change began in Europe. Okay, we see the verb occurred again, and then there was a nice verb. Farmers flocked to newly developing cities. So they left the countryside altogether and they went to these new industrialized cities. But don't forget that we're talking about tea. So we've got plenty of people moving from the countryside to the cities because there are factories that can give pretty much anybody a job. Anybody can get it because they require very little training, but there is a flip side, and that flip side is that this work is often long, maybe even more than boring, dangerous, definitely, and grueling. Second paragraph. Tea stood behind every step of this monumental shift in society. Throughout the late 18th and early 19th century, decreased taxes on tea and more efficient transportation technology made tea widely more available to the general public. European working class citizens could now afford something that was once only consumed by the wealthy. Soon, tea was an everyday luxury for a vast majority of the middle class. The benefits of tea consumption were truly immeasurable. The initial lure of the tea was the caffeine boost it provided for long shifts of factory work. Workers now had something that could push them through days of grueling, unfulfilling work. Tea's good taste was another benefit, leading to its increasing popularity. Okay, so in the first line, we have this verb to stand behind, which means to be behind something. So tea was the reason behind every step of this monumental shift in society. So the taxes had decreased, the transportation technology was more efficient, and so tea was more available to everybody. So in the 16th century, 17th century, it was more of especially 17th century, it was more of a luxury, and 18th century for the high class people. Right now, it becomes widely available for the general public. And before, it was consumed only by the wealthy. This is something that you can do in English. You put the article the before an adjective and you create a category. For example, elderly, the elderly, it's the category of old people, but it sounds a little better. Wealthy is an adjective, it's the opposite of poor. If you say the wealthy, it means the category of wealthy people. Robin Hood stole from the rich to give to the poor. It's not one rich person and one poor person. If I put the in front of an adjective, I create the category. Similarly, the Japanese. Okay, without an S at the end, the Japanese is a group of Japanese. I create the category of the Japanese people. Okay, so now tea is accessible to everybody during the Industrial Revolution, and the benefits are immeasurable. Of course, the initial lure, the lure is something that attracts you, okay? So the initial attraction of the tea was the caffeine boost that it provided for long shifts of factory work. So now, drinking tea, caffeine, I can work longer hours. And then the fact that it tasted good, it helped increase its popularity. But now it gets interesting because definitely the caffeine boost and the good taste are not the main reasons why tea and the Industrial Revolution are connected. So let's read the next paragraph. However, one of the most important, yet at the same time unpraised advantages of tea was its ability to prevent mass pandemic. I'm going to read it again. However, one of the most important, yet at the same time unpraised advantages of tea was its ability to prevent mass pandemic. The process of boiling the water used for tea and the tannic acid in the drink itself allowed consumers to fend off diseases such as cholera, typhoid, and dysentery. If these epidemics were to be released into the densely packed cities that were prevalent throughout the Industrial Revolution, the effects would be devastating. Luckily, tea enabled the society to avoid a massive population decrease. As a result, the workforce remained high, and employees were constantly available for factory work. The large supply of workers was critical to the continuation of the Industrial Revolution, and without tea, it would never have been able to be upheld. Tea's valuable health benefits were integral to the success and length of the Industrial Revolution. So in the first line, we have this very nice adjective, unpraised. The unpraised advantages of tea. The advantages that are not really sponsored, we could say, that people don't really talk about. In a movie or in many different, I don't know, even in football or in sports, you can talk about an unsung hero. So an unsung hero is is something that does is somebody that does something great, but he doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. So an unsung hero. In this case, an unpraised advantage. So the process of boiling water helped prevent the mass pandemic. Of course, if you boil water, you kill all of the bacteria in the water, but then also there is the tannic acid inside tea. I didn't know anything about tannic acid, but it can fend off, okay? It can kill diseases such as cholera, typhoid, and dysentery. Imagine an industrial city during the Industrial Revolution with a pandemic breaking out. That would have been absolutely crazy. Luckily, people were drinking tea, and so they didn't know it really, but they were protecting themselves. In the second to last line, there is the verb upheld. Of course, is the past of uphold. It would have never been able to be upheld. It means sustained, basically. Okay. While tea became a part of daily life during the Industrial Revolution, industrialization, conversely, had little effect on the production of tea. Ever since its origins and up to today, tea is picked by hand by the result of difficult human labor. Only low-quality tea can be harvested by machine. As industrialization led into the making of the modern world, tea production remained stuck in the past, reminiscent, in fact, of the labor conditions during the beginnings of industrialization. However, the new steamboats, and here there is a typo, there is a mistake. However, the new steamboats of the time increased the speed at which tea could be traded, and hence made the tea more universally available. The rate of change in other industries and the key developments of the Industrial Revolution do not apply to tea in all cases, but nevertheless, tea and industrialization are very interconnected. Okay, so here we have a few notes over the production of tea, and it says that tea is picked by hand by the result of difficult human labor, while low-quality tea can be harvested by machines. The tea production, however, remained stuck in the past, but the new steamboats, so a boat is a large ship, okay? A steamboat, because the steam is what comes out of the water when you're boiling it, okay? So a steamboat is the classic, the classic boat in the cartoons that you see with the little white cloud coming off the top. The new steamboats increased the speed at which tea could be traded, and so it became more universally available to everybody. Now, as we said, the name of this website is teaandprogress.com, so probably their version is biased, and maybe they make it sound greater, like tea did more than it actually did during the Industrial Revolution. But as I told you at the beginning, this is something that I studied in high school and I never really forgot. And if you go online, there are many scholars, many professors, many historians who have written pieces about this interconnection between tea and the Industrial Revolution. Now, I don't know about you. I drank a coffee this morning as a true Italian, but reading this article, I don't know. I feel like I want to drink a cup of tea right now. So maybe that's what I will do. I wish you a good day, a good rest of the week. It looks like it's going to be a good sunny day all along until tonight. So make sure you go out for a little walk to freshen up. And you're welcome, Maria Pia, and good morning, Benedetta. I'm just reading right now on the chat. And yeah, have a good time. And I'll see you next Wednesday morning, always at 9:15. Goodbye, everybody, and have a great rest of the week. Ciao, ciao.